Hey folks, this lab is a little bit more complex than the other labs, so I want to just go over it with you. So you want to start off by making a copy of your Lab 7 folder, and then let's just start by reviewing the HTML for home.html. I'm going to go ahead and open it up in brackets, and let's notice that we have our usual structure: head, body. We have a wrapper div that goes around everything, and inside that we have our header, our nav. Notice that our links are set up as a bulleted list. Then we have our hero div, our main section, and our footer. Now if I look at yurts or activities, notice that within the main I've changed the structure a little bit. So we now have sections, and each section has an H3 and a paragraph in it. And when I look at that in the browser, when I do a preview, this is what it looks like. And notice that my H1 is now a link that takes you back to the home page. Alright, so going back to the instructions, the first thing that I want to do is add the viewport meta tag to all of the pages in the head tag. And what I want you to notice is that the order of things is important here. Our tutor Jim pointed this out, and so I want to make sure that all of these meta tags show up before any of the other tags on the pages. So I'm just going to copy this whole thing, and I know we already have that char set UTF-8, so but I'll just copy it and paste it again. So I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to go back to my pages, and then just paste this in. Whoops. And notice I now have two of the char sets, so I'll delete the second one and beautify. And so you're just going to do that with all of your pages. And so I've already done that for home and activities. So now what we want to do is we want to work on our Pacific.css file, and what we want to end up with is the very simple view that works for phones. And we always want to do a mobile first design for a few reasons. The first is that this is the simplest CSS. So remember that phones often rely on data that people pay for, so we want to be kind to the phone users and load that simplest thing first. Now with media queries, the initial CSS gets loaded, and then the media queries for the medium view and the large view get loaded after that, and they override the initial CSS. So let's just go through and redo our CSS to make it very simple. And when we're done, we want it to look like this. One column, and very easy to use navigation, and that's maybe a little bigger than we would need for a desktop view where people generally use a mouse. Alright, so let's start by removing the float and left margin from all selectors. So I'm going to go back to my CSS, and I can just scroll through and look for all of those things. So let me just do a search for float, and just delete it that way. So there we've got section also. Let's see, and then I'm done there. So now let's do a search for margin left, and any of those left margins we're going to get rid of. I think we have one more. Oh, nope, we got them all. Okay, so I'm going to save that, and then let's just take a look and see how it looks now. Alright, so now we've gotten rid of the float, and so what that means is that our nav is just showing up without the float. So what's the next step? Next step is we want to edit that nav rule, and so what we're going to do is remove the width, we're going to set the padding to 0 and center the text. So let me find my nav. We're going to remove the width, get rid of the padding. Is that what I said? Let me look. Okay, set padding to 0. Now remember, when we set things to 0, you don't have to put units there. And then we want to center the text, so we do that with the text align. I'm going to save that, and then let's take a look and see what it looks like now. Okay, so now everything is centered there. Alright, what's next? So we're going to edit our wrapper. We're going to remove width, min width, max width, margin, border, and box shadow. Let's see how much of that I can remember. Okay, I'll just do a few at a time. Min width, and max width. Okay, so let's go find the wrapper. I think box shadow was one of them. And let me go back, see what I missed. Okay, margin and border. Okay, I'll save that, and then let's see what it looks like now. Alright. Okay, what's next? Okay, add a nav li rule, and then what we want to do is have a solid bottom border that's dark blue, so I'll just copy and paste that, 1 pixel, and it's just on the bottom. Okay, so going back to my CSS, I'm going to add a nav li. And border bottom. One pixel, blue, and I feel like, what did I forget? Solid. Yes. Okay, so and let's see what that does. Okay, so now we've got a nice line underneath there. And what's next? The header rule. We're going to remove the padding and height from the header. Just delete that. Take a look. Alright, so now it's just a lot simpler for the phone. And for our H1, we're going to get rid of our font size and add some padding, 0.5 em, top and bottom. Alright, so let me go back to the H1. And okay, remove font size and top and bottom padding. And I guess a real simple way is padding top and oops, spelled it wrong, so it's all in red there. Try that again. Whoops, I guess I hit my insert key somewhere along there. And once I set that up again, now it's working. And beautify. Okay, now I'm going to go back and see what that looks like. So we've just gotten rid of some of the, we've made some changes to the heading. And let's see, we're going to get rid of the section rule. Oh, yeah, that's where we are. Okay, we're going to remove the section rule, so we'll go back and look for that and just delete it. Save it, and then let's go ahead and just check everything. We're going to preview our pages, and it should look something like this for all the pages. So, so if I go to Yurts, I have the same look and feel. So this is our phone view, and if we resize this, we'll see that this works very nicely for phones.